Hey everybody, welcome back to Football Talk with Vinny. In today's video, we're going to be going over the Arizona Cardinals. So we are now at the halfway point with the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to try to make some of these videos a little faster for you guys. I know I've been taking a little long time, but let's get right into it. Obviously, with the offseason, we're going to go over some of the players that they lost. Obviously, really the big one is Patrick Peterson, and then the question mark was Larry Fitzgerald. I want to say the question mark because he's technically still a free agent, so I don't know if he's going to retire. He hasn't announced anything. Is he going to just re-sign with Arizona? Is he going to maybe try to sign with a different team and maybe try to win a championship, right? Maybe sign with a team like maybe like the Indianapolis Colts, who maybe are a little short on the wide receiver depth, right? And try to win a championship with them, or just re-sign with Arizona and see how Kyler Murray is with the weapons they have. But as for guys they signed, they are really trying to make the playoffs this year. I think with the guys they signed, they were obviously able to get J.J. Watt, which I think is going to be huge for that defense, because now it finally gives you another pass rusher that you're afraid of, opposite of Chandler Jones. Chandler Jones has been so good for so long. I think he's kind of lost in Arizona, so to speak, because they were not a good football team the last 3-4 seasons. So I think he kind of got lost at how good he actually is. And obviously I think last year he got hurt, so he was not able to finish the season. But I think having two dominant pass rushers, their offense you already know is going to be very explosive. So I think it's going to, those sack totals from those guys could easily, I think, both be over 15 this year. And then on top of that, you sign A.J. Green. So now if Larry Fitzgerald doesn't come back, you still have a maybe potentially Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver opposite of D-Hop. Obviously, we didn't get to see A.J. Green much last year, but I do think if he can come back anywhere near what he used to be, he is a 5-6 time Pro Bowler, so he is a very good receiver in his own right. You were able to also get Malcolm Butler to add some depth at the cornerback position. You traded for Rodney Hudson, one of the best centers in the league from the Las Vegas Raiders. And then you re-signed a couple of your own guys, Justin Pugh, the left guard. You signed Jordan Hicks and Kelvin Beachum. So you re-signed a couple of your guys that played significant snaps for you last year, so at least you didn't lose that. And then you signed a backup running back in James Conner. So obviously the loss of Patrick Peterson I think is going to hurt, but again, if you're the Cardinals, I think they signed so many guys that they are definitely making a playoff push this year. Now if you look at the draft, at the 16th pick, they took Xavier Collins, the linebacker. In the second round, at pick 49, they took Rondale Moore, a wide receiver. Again, now pick 136, I'm going to quickly go over the rest of these, but at pick 136, they took Marco Wilson, a cornerback. At pick 210, they took a DN, Victor Demikiji. I'll just spell it, I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. At pick 223, they took Tay Gowan, a corner. Pick 243, they took a safety, James Wiggins. And at pick 247, they took Michael Minette, a center. So again, let me just focus in on the top 100, which is really only 2 picks. With that first pick, you were able to get a linebacker, which obviously is going to help that front 7, along with J.J. Watt. And then the second pick, by taking a wide receiver, just in case Larry Fitzgerald doesn't come back and A.J. Green maybe has lost a step or two and he's not the same player, at least you're getting a young, fresh guy in there to where you'll have some guys that can maybe get open and make some plays, while you're trying to double D-Hop. Because again, D-Hop is one of the best receivers, if not the best receiver in the league. So if you're A.J. Green, right, you no longer are going to get the best corner, so you're going to be able to make some plays. And if A.J. Green can play, that means this guy, the second round pick, he's going to see one of the worst corners of the opposing team. That's like an ideal scenario. So now you can put up big numbers with a good quarterback when you're really getting the other team's third or fourth best corner. Quickly, before I go into the season and projections, let me just go into the actual money they have. So they have $11 million to spend this year. Again, I don't know if they're going to probably sign any other free agents. So that's pretty normal to stay around that $10 million mark. And then for next year, they're at $12 million. So again, if they were to roll over this entire 11, they're going to have about $23 million. So enough to sign a player or two for next year. So their cap situation is not terrible for the next year. Now, as far as the season goes, I think it's very difficult to project the Cardinals, just like I think any team in that division specifically, because that division is so good. Who is the worst team in the division, right? Like, it's hard to say the Rams, like probably not the Niners as long as they come back healthy. So you're either left with the Cardinals or Seattle as the worst team in the division. And both of those teams, are playoff caliber teams, right? Like, Seattle made the playoffs last year, and the Cardinals missed it off a tiebreaker with the Chicago Bears. So it's really weird. It's like, do you have Arizona as the worst team in the division? But obviously they're still better than most teams in the league. So I think for my projections for this team, I have them, and it's going to be kind of huge. And again, I'll have a video towards the start of the regular season where I'll go over who I actually think is going to make the playoffs. But for now, I'll just do projections. But I think I have them anywhere from a 7 to 11 win team. It's probably one of the biggest gaps I'm going to give of any team as I do these videos. But I think, again, if the Niners are healthy, right, I can see them winning 10, 11 games, right? The Rams, I think most people would have them right now as the best team in the division just because their defense is good. They probably upgraded at quarterback, right? And then Seattle, it's tough to put Russell Wilson under 6 or 7 wins when I don't think he's won less than 8 or 9 games ever in his career. So that's why the gap is pretty big because, again, if the Rams can beat them, if the Niners beat them, and if Seattle can maybe split with them, how many wins are you really going to get in the division if you're Arizona? And if you only win 1 or 2 divisional games, it's going to be tough to win more than 7 games. Now, I think if they're able to win 3 or 4 divisional games, they can get up to that 9, 10, maybe even 11 wins. Again, I think a lot of it's going to do with Kyler Murray's development. He was very good early in the season. He kind of had a stretch in the middle of the season where he wasn't bad, but he wasn't playing to that MVP caliber that people were talking about him after those first 4 or 5 weeks. And then towards the end, he kind of came on a little bit more and won a couple games late to kind of make that playoff push. So I think a lot of it's going to depend on Kyler Murray, right? If he's able to play at an MVP level the entire year, I think this team could definitely win, probably even maybe more than 11 games if their offense can be that elite. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you got this far, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe, as they do help the channel out a lot. And I look forward to the next video. Bye.